And the Eurozone debt crisis is getting dangerously close to the monetary union's powerhouse, Germany. Moody's has cut the ratings of several German banks, including the country's second biggest lender. Austria is also affected. Let's get some thoughts on what all this means with Max Keiser, RT's financial guru and host, of course, of the Keiser Report. Max, hello. What's Moody's worried about here? How exposed is the Eurozone's biggest economy to the problems of the struggling South?
Well, first of all, let's keep in mind that Moody's is not an impartial judge in this. They were caught picking sides during the 2008 crisis. They're a publicly listed company with Warren Buffett as a huge shareholder. They don't downgrade, for example, Wells Fargo, a bank that Buffett has an interest in. They downgrade other countries and other banks that they are as commensurate with a pay-for rating scheme. So Moody's itself is highly corrupt. Countries like Germany, Russia, they should have their own rating agencies to publish ratings of the UK or the US to try to counterbalance the corruption of Moody's. Having said that, all the banks around the world, all the too big to fail banks as they're called, are insolvent. And they're all crashing. It doesn't matter whether it's a German bank or a Greek bank or a British bank or an American bank. They all have trillions of dollars of unsecured debt on their balance sheets. Their book value is less than zero, and this deleveraging, unwinding global banking crisis is continuing apace.
So what's the next stage then? What's going to happen? You said every bank's bankrupt around the world, so where's it going to go from here?
Well, this is turning into, from a banking crisis to a sovereign debt crisis. It'll become a currency crisis. And it'll involve the euro, the dollar, the British pound, the yen are all crashing against gold and silver. You see, George Soros, for example, has been buying gold again, as are all the central banks around the world are buying gold and silver because they realize that this all is turning into a massive currency crisis, and all these paper currencies are going to become extinct. And we're going to go back to some kind of gold-backed currency.
Yeah, indeed. George Soros has recently said that the Eurozone just has 3 months to avert a breakup of the monetary union. You're kind of agreeing with him, yeah?
No, Soros agrees with me. Soros takes his cue from the Keiser report. We've been buying gold for months. He was out of gold. He was in gold. He's out of gold. He is on the fence about gold. Finally, hopefully, Soros will see it my way. I used to, work with his son in New York many years ago. I know the family well. I think they're over-trading this market. Just go long gold, George. Don't trade out of the position this time. Work with me, George. We're going to make everybody a lot of money who has gold.
All right, let's go back to the Eurozone then. It's committed to the bailout remedy. Waste of time, you think?
Well, the remedy that they come up with, whether it's austerity or money printing, fails to address the central problem of corrupt banks at the center of this global fraud. In the United States, of course, we now find out that MF Global and JP Morgan were involved in a massive fraud. JP Morgan's balance sheet had a $2 billion explosion, became a $6 billion explosion. I'm hearing it's going to be a $30 billion explosion, and JP Morgan's stock price is going the same way of Enron, zero. Same thing with Deutsche Bank. Société Générale here in France, one of the worst banks in the world. That stock's going to zero. One of the worst managed banks in the world. BNP here in France, insolvent. Stock's going to zero. So this is continuing as we've been predicting for months. The so-called bounce in 2009 was really just a sugar high brought about by some cash that was injected and some algorithmic trading, some high-frequency trading. Again, totally fraudulent. There was no backing behind it economically. Now we're back to the primary trend: banking collapse, sovereign collapse, currency collapse, gold and silver skyrocketing.
Max, there's a saying in Britain, look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves. Seems that some countries are really desperate at this stage. There's a report in the Telegraph newspaper, Italy's even planned to sell its rare mountain sheep at auction. Is it that bad?
Well, that's great for those who are buying these assets for pennies on the dollar. When I was in Athens last time, I talked to Steve Forbes, another famous family in America. He was there negotiating to buy for the International Chamber of Commerce assets for pennies on the dollar. They, the global elite love when these crashes occur. They can buy all these assets, whether it's all the assets in Ireland all the assets in Greece, all across Europe and around the world. They love these catastrophes. You know, as somebody described it, Naomi Klein, it's disaster capitalism, and these elites at the top love it. They get a lot of assets for extraordinarily cheap. And the austerity measures are the result of debts that are being imposed upon the population, debts that they did not incur. And I'm very sorry to see that the people of Wisconsin, they came very close to throwing out that bum, Walker, but they balked at the last minute. Same thing in Ireland. They almost voted against a treaty, which would have crashed the euro and helped their exports. It would have been economically a boon if they voted no. But at the last minute, they chickened out again. The people in Greece are on the threshold of a revolution, but, you know, they don't seem to get it together yet to overthrow regime change, get rid of this technocrat that's running the show, put in a people's representative. As a matter of fact, Kevin, let me tell you something. I'm flying to Athens tomorrow morning with billionaire Hugo Solanas Price. We're talking to Syriza, the new left-wing government, about introducing a silver-backed drachma, along with the euro, as a way to cure Greece's problems. Bring back real money, silver and gold. I'll be on his jet tomorrow, flying to Athens. I'll give you an exclusive, Kevin, from the ground in Athens if you have me back on tomorrow.
Max Keiser, financial analyst, host of the Keiser Report. Looking forward to it. Have a nice flight.